repealer on this bill to 2028. We have had conversations with MDA. I do intend on having a floor amendment. There are a few items that MDA has requested some language for, and so we're going to be working with them to have an amendment on the floor for consideration, but they do not have it ready yet, the total amendment. But over the Healthcare Industry Zone Act, I know we've talked about like how many projects have been awarded and how much has been invested. I do have a printout. If anybody would like one, we can have copies made. But since I guess the first in 2012 up till today, there's been almost $715 million in expected new investment and over 3,000 jobs created due to the Healthcare Industry Zone Act. So those are some numbers that MDA has provided. And like I said, I know you'd asked for some, we'll get a copy of these made out for anybody who would like some. But it does extend the repealer to 2028. So that's an explanation of the bill. Are there any questions? Seeing none, for a motion. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Ayes have it. Next is Senate Bill 2832. This is the Mississippi Short Line tax credit. The Mississippi Short Line tax credit has spurred over $61 million in rail infrastructure investment in 33 counties across the state in the first 3 years of the program. This would extend the program out 3 years, I believe, to 29. And so that's what the bill does, but it still has an $8 million cap per year. And as of right now, we have had $21 million in tax credits claimed and $61 million of investment. So are there any questions on the bill? Seeing none, for a motion. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next bill is Senate Bill 2834. Senator Michelle's, this is going to wind up being the Senate Omnibus Tag Bill. So this will be the vehicle we use for any tag requests that members may have. If you have not gotten your request in, get it into Ian before the end of the session. We'll have to have a final tally on all the requests and make sure everybody's tag request has been accounted for before we do a conference report. But we will need to put a reverse repealer in the bill. So Senator Michelle makes a motion for a reverse repealer. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Any further questions on the bill? For our new members, if you have a tag request for an entity in your district, just get it into Ian and we'll add it at the end of the session. So motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Ayes have it. Next is Senate Bill 2838, and I'm going to recognize Senator Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 2838 is the qualified resort status bill. If you'll look on line 1106, you will see that I have made an addition to this bill, which would be the campus, including the golf course of a community college located on Old Highway 51 in Wesson, Mississippi. That's an explanation of the bill, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Are there any questions on the bill? This will also probably be the omnibus resort status bill. I know we have a lot of people that have offered resort status language, and so Senator Barrett, if you'll make a motion for a reverse repealer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we insert a reverse repealer.
Heard the motion. Any questions, debate? All right, all those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Any further questions on the bill?
I'll make a motion, title sufficient, do pass as committee sub.
All right, motion is title sufficient due pass, committee sub. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. Thank you, Senator Barrett. Next is Senate Bill 2843. I recognize Senator Delano to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, this bill changes the definition of eligible expenses for the site development improvements that MDA uses for their economic development projects. The issue that we're having is that while we do have some sites that are available, there are some challenges in making those sites ready for development, and a lot of it deals with infrastructure related to utilities for electricity and gas. What this bill will do is allow for MDA and the local development authorities to come up with a loan program, or at least be able to purchase equipment that may take 6 to 9 to 18 months for it to be delivered to site. So this helps us make those sites ready for development. And the changes to the bill is on lines 38 through 43 for the most part. And again, all it does is allow them to help make the site ready for utility expenses and infrastructure needs. That's an explanation of the bill. I'll yield for any questions, Mr. Chairman.
You heard an explanation of the bill. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none for a motion. Motion is title sufficient due pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Next is Senate Bill 2847. Recognize Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill seeks to account for the penny going away as a means of paying for something. And so what this does is sets that the states, anything charged to a member of the public by the state or a political subdivision, including utilities, will be rounded to the nearest nickel, as long as that is something that can be paid with cash. And that's an explanation of what the bill does.
Okay. Are there any questions from the committee?
Motion's title sufficient due pass.
Motion is title sufficient due pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. Next is Senate Bill 2849. This is the Strengthening Mississippi Academic Research through Business Act. This is the bill that extends the repealer for the Smart Business Program, which provides a $1.5 million credit for researchers at our universities, our institutions of higher learning, to develop projects to commercialize and lead to job creation. It also encourages companies to work with research universities, develop technology through this rebate and qualified research cost. It provides a maximum of $150,000 grants to professors at research universities. And they awarded over 1.4 million last year in 2025. And this extends the repealer out to 2028. That is an explanation of the bill. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none for a motion. Motion is title sufficient due pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next, Senate Bill 2865. Senator Delano, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, this is a bill that actually made it all the way through the process last year. It got to conference weekend and we had a little hiccup, as y'all may be aware, and this bill got caught up in it. So I want to explain it one more time. This deals with a tax credit for certain gaming licenses that are making expenditures of over $2 million in new capital growth for non-gaming facilities at existing casino properties. The amount of tax credit would be equal to 50% of the incremental new gaming taxes. So in other words, they have to go and invest this money into a capital project that is going to increase the revenue to the state of Mississippi. They were able to use 50% of that incremental tax as a tax credit, and it's not to exceed a period of 10 years. That's an explanation of the bill. Mr. Chairman, I'll yield for any questions.
Are there any questions from the committee? Shockingly not. So
Title sufficient due pass.
motion is title sufficient due pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. Next is Senate Bill 2882. Senator England, recognize you to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, Senate Bill 2882 simply states that no applicant for homestead exemption shall be required by their county to produce a copy of any closing statement or disclosure in order to qualify for homestead exemption. Sometimes those documents contain personal information, and so this is part of our principle of non-disclosure of that type of information. You'll see that it is required to provide the amount sold and conveyed to the owner, and all of that is required. But these documents, some counties are starting to require them, so we're just putting in code here that is no longer required. That's all the bill does. Happy to take any questions.
All right. Are there any questions on the bill?
If none, my motion would be title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. Next is, instead of Senate Bill 2900, we're actually using Senate Bill 2912. And I'll recognize Senator Sparks to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 2912 addresses Roth catch-up contributions in the deferred compensation portion.
Senator Sparks, can you make sure your mic's on or pull it up to you?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Is that better,
Thank
Mr. Chairman? Thank you. Senate Bill 2912 addresses Roth catch-up contributions in the deferred compensation plan of the state retirement program. Of course, deferred compensation has been available for many years. That is a optional tool for our retirees to invest, and there are rules with Roth catch-up contributions that our law doesn't allow. That is the purpose of this change to the law. This is a PERS board recommendation. We've brought this bill forward, I think, about 3 years. There was in prior years a qualified domestic order piece that is not in this bill. We've removed that. And again, that was at the PERS board's request. Senator Blunt and I have co-sponsored this bill. We both serve on the PERS board, and Mr. Higgins is here from PERS, but this is, a PERS requested bill. And I would yield to any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any questions? All right, seeing none.
Title sufficient, do pass, Mr. Chairman.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next bill is Senate Bill 2915. Recognize Senator McMahon to explain the bill.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm happy to report to this committee and to our senators that our native wine industry continues to grow in the state of Mississippi. We're seeing more and more activity from outside the state, people coming here for our wineries, and I'm happy to see that. And so with this growth requires some small technical changes to the law. So I'll walk you through those changes in the bill. If you look specifically at line 149, we start there. It removes the repealer for the permit. There was a sunset clause in it. As you know, when we got started, we wanted to be sure that we got some things right, and we did because of the work of this committee. We got some things right, so we're going to remove the repealer. And then the lines 149 through 156 do a couple of things. It expands the tasting room options on site. It also allows our native wineries to expand and have a tasting location somewhere within the state. There are several economic projects that are pending where wineries have been invited to have tasting rooms in certain municipalities within the state. Then going down to lines 861 through 867 as it currently is. As you know, we've had some problems with ABC delivering on time. They're running about 8 working days behind. This is the slowest time of the month. The slowest time of the year. So we were looking for some accommodations to allow retailers to pick up at ABC, and it would define 2 8-hour business days. And then it defines what a truckload is. A truckload would be roughly 650 cases on a 32-foot truck and 1,300 cases on a 53-foot truck. There may be an amendment for that here in a minute, but that's what the bill does in its current form. And then we've got some conforming language on line 958, 957 and 958. Just some conforming language, and also on 971 conforms throughout the bill. And so that's what the bill does, and I would yield for any questions.
Are there any questions on the bill?
How,
Senator Johnson, question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I get the idea of picking up your order, but how does that conflict or work with the contract we have with a current vendor who does deliveries in the state?
So there used to be an option within the current system. There used to be an option that you could check that somebody holding a packaging retail permit could pick up. So several tried to utilize that feature, and ABC withdrew the feature from the website because they didn't want to accommodate it. So they're running 8 days behind now.
Yes.
In the slowest month of the year. So we wanted to try to allow some of the larger retailers in the state to pick up. However, I understand there could be an amendment, and I'm not going to oppose the amendment, but that's what the purpose of this section is in the bill.
So, all right. Any other questions? Okay. I do have an amendment. I've talked to the Commissioner of Revenue, and the concern right now is the setup at the existing warehouse does not lend itself to really be able to provide this option currently. But when they get into the new warehouse, he said he's going to work on trying to have some type of pickup ability for retailers. And so they're working on that, and they will continue to, and hopefully provide us some feedback at a later time on what that would look like. So my amendment would be to strike lines 861 through 867. That removes the language where it allows the ability for them to provide 2 8-hour business days to pick up cases. So that's an explanation of the amendment. Are there any questions? Senator McMahon for a question.
I'd like to speak to the amendment,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Are there any other questions? Senator Sparks for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I understand your amendment may make this question moot, but if we are eventually going to allow pickup by package retailers, we have on-premise sales site licensees that probably roll more cases than a literal package store at times. So I would just want them to be considered. I hope with the new warehouse that we literally don't need this provision, but at some point, if we do allow this for a package store, I think we also need to consider it for on-premise accounts as well, because it hurts their bottom line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, see none. Senator McMahon, you're recognized to speak
Thank
on the amendment.
So I'm not going to oppose the chair out of respect for him. I'm going to ask you to support the amendment to strike this language. But I do want it to spread here in this public hearing that I'm unhappy with the performance of ABC. I'm unhappy with the way they're fulfilling their orders. They're 8 days behind today, and it's the slowest month of the year. So I just want everybody to have full understanding. These retail packaging stores, they don't sell multiple products. This is their livelihood. I want you to imagine if you had a business and the only thing you sold was products that are relied on from ABC to deliver. And they can't get their products, so they're missing sales. But as I've said, I'm going to ask you to support the amendment because of the chair. But I am personally going to vote no. But I'm going to vote to support the amendment for respect for the chair. But I hope our friends at the DOR and ABC clearly hear what this body, this committee is saying, and we want the issues resolved, and we want these products delivered to support these mom and pop businesses. I move for adoption of the amendment.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments on the amendment? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. The amendment passes. Are there any other questions on the bill? Senator Sparks for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be honest, I'm not real, well versed in the shipment of wine and, shipment to home and native, et cetera. But I do have a question for the author of the bill. Is any of these changes that talk about native wines, I'm assuming that means produced in this state or?
Correct.
Okay,
There are 5, Senator Sparks. There are 5 wineries in the state.
okay. And
The industry's growing. And so these technical changes have to be made to support the growth.
And I have no issue with that growth. I am concerned, and I guess this would be a question maybe for Ian at some point as well, before we get to the floor. Is there any legal prohibition about doing something that favors an in-state winery, from whether it's a commerce clause or, because I think we had this discussion when we've discussed shipping to home, over the last few years.
This language actually conforms to what we're already doing with distilleries. Distilleries are different from wineries. Distilleries already have this, and we're conforming the law to match what the distillers have the opportunity to do.
Okay, and I'm fine with that. I just do want to double check that we don't do anything that some out of state winery says you're getting a favorable thing that would violate the Commerce Clause. No,
Understood.
thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Sir.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Senator.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none for a motion.
I move for passage of the committee sub.
Motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. I want to thank the committee for your involvement in today's meeting, all your pertinent questions. Thank y'all for being so acutely in tune with what's going on. I like to think that we just explained the bills very well. We probably will have a meeting Monday afternoon. We've got an updated list of bills, so we'll go through those, but it'll either be a very long meeting on Tuesday, or we may try to break it up and have a meeting Monday afternoon and then again on Tuesday morning at 10:30. So just be mindful of that. With that, motion rise and report. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.